Welcome, my friends, to part 4 of 21 Program Manager interview questions. Today, we move on to the section Technical and Execution Skills. Here's the first question. Explain your experience with developing and managing learning programs, participation guides, and other multimedia training materials. Now, as usual, take some time to craft your answer, and I'll give you an idea of how you can answer it. Okay, hit the pause button if you need more time. So I would answer like this. I have a proven track record in not only designing learning modules and programs, but also managing them. I have experience in incorporating multimedia elements for enhanced engagement. I have used a variety of tools, everything from Camtasia to more familiar tools today, like 360, Articulate, and others. I've also developed tools and approaches of my own. I employ user-centric design principles, interactive assessments, and regular updates to ensure that the content remains relevant and effective for the consumer. Let's go to our next question. You've been tasked with launching a digital communal interface for the community managers. Describe your approach to user onboarding, content migration, and ensuring platform adoption. Hit the pause button as you craft your answer. Okay, so I would answer something like this. In this program regarding the launch of a digital communal interface for community managers, I would start with a comprehensive onboarding plan. This would include tailored training sessions, user-friendly documentation, meeting in smaller groups when required, maybe even sometimes one-on-one, and a phased content migration strategy. I would ensure that there's continuous support and feedback, because this would drive platform adoption among community managers when they feel heard and understood, not as though one is just shoving a tool down their throat to be used, but instead one is inviting them for a conversation, for collaboration. That is what I would do. Next question. How would you leverage data analytics to measure the effectiveness of various training components and identify areas for improvement? Give it some time. Okay, I would answer something like this. To effectively leverage data analytics to measure the effectiveness of various training components, we first of all have to define what KPIs would be measured. The KPIs would be established to measure effectiveness of the content. We also would measure efficiency of the system altogether. How quickly are people able to find what they need? How quickly are they able to resolve any issues they may be facing? Do they have the ability to get help, or must they always seek a human? When we talk about the effectiveness of the training content, we could have regular data reviews of performance of students on the system. We could also have a review of how often a user drops off the course without finishing, and other metrics such as that. This could be decided upon with a wider group. When it comes to regular data reviews, this would help guide adjustments to continuous improvement. So there would be a sub-team from the wider program team that would be looking at the KPIs and determining how to improve on the effectiveness and efficiency of the system. Let's go to our next one. Describe your process for gathering and implementing feedback from the field teams to continuously iterate on the enablement program. Craft your answer before listening to mine. All right, so I would answer like this. When working on this program to gather and implement feedback, I would ensure that there are regular feedback loops and touch points with the field teams. And this would be established through surveys, focus groups. There could be facilitated workshops of sorts, one-on-one discussions, and other forums. And this data-driven approach will ensure that the enablement program remains responsive to the evolving needs of community hosts. And here's your final question for today. Share an example of a complex program you managed from planning to completion, highlighting your project management and resource allocation skills. You take some time to answer that. Okay, hit the pause button. So I would say, I successfully managed a complex program from planning to completion by employing a robust program management framework when I worked for Motorola, when they were engaging Emerson in discussions for divestiture. My job as the program manager was to ensure that everything was caught and nothing slipped through the cracks. Consequently, we had project managers that were assigned to each department to ensure that the projects under the program went hitch-free. We had a very clear RACI allocation, responsible, accountable, consoled, informed, very clear milestones. The resource allocation was based on skill sets, and we had regular status updates. In fact, we had a war room towards the end of the program where we would meet to troubleshoot and fix things then and there without anyone having to leave. And we ensured that the successful delivery of the program within the defined timeline. On day one, all systems were ready. All systems were a go. Everything worked hitch-free and seamlessly. And the team did a great job. And that's an example of a program that I worked on from planning to completion. All right, my friends. So your job after this mock interview is to go dust the books, make sure you're able to tackle any program manager interview question that I give you. And when you finally do go for the interview, the real interview, you will have a much better chance of success. The key thing in all of these interviews is how convincing you are when you state what you have done. Are you observing the body language of the interviewer? Are you observing their cadence and rate of speech? Are you minding your language? Are you mirroring the vibe you're getting from the individual interviewing you? You need to do all these things to be successful. It's not enough to say, well, I've got all of these certifications and I've got all these degrees. That's all well and good. But if you're not able to connect effectively with the person interviewing you, the interview will be over very quickly, right? And even if it doesn't end there very quickly, you may not be called back because these interviews have more to do with your personality and your ability to blend in. Those who are able to blend in with the interviewer, they will likely have a better chance. I'm not saying it's a one size fits all, but they will likely have a better chance because company culture eats strategy for lunch. What am I saying? The culture is number one. And if you're able to integrate with the culture and demonstrate it in the interview, well, they're going to feel at ease with you and they're going to feel, yeah, we can work with this. But if you go in there and you got an attitude or you got just a different vibe, from the vibe you should be sourcing out, you're not going to be called back, no matter how good you are, right? Because people don't hire certifications, people don't hire degrees, people hire people, right? So when a program manager goes in there for the interview, they're hiring the person, not the person's degrees. Am I clear? All right. Well, thank you for joining me today, my friends. I wish you all the very best. Go kill it. And let me know when you land your next program manager gig. Like, subscribe, and share. Bye for now.